Hey everyone, it's Stranger Grayson here. Welcome back to another horror movie review. Today, we'll be taking a look at another Wrong Turn sequel. And you guys warned me about this, but my stupid self decided to watch it anyway. So, yeah. I'm sorry I didn't heed your warnings, but here we are. But either way, I had no choice. I had to cover all the wrong turns. Even though I really didn't want to, seeing a public opinion does not like this film, and for good reason. That film is Wrong Turn 5 Bloodlines. Now, this came in a 5-movie pack with Wrong Turns 1 through 5. This will be the film I am covering today, Wrong Turn 5 Bloodlines, and here it is on the back. You guys warned me. Should heed your warnings. Yeah, this film was not really pleasant to watch. Anyways, I'll get into that. So, Wrong Turn 5 Bloodlines. What is it about? So, Wrong Turn 5 Bloodlines is another prequel to the original Wrong Turn, which I don't know how this really fits in the timeline in the span of like 3 months, but, you know, whatever. Fourth movie took place in 2003. This movie takes place in 2003. I don't know if Wrong Turn 6 is a prequel or not, but if it is, I don't know how they fit 3 movies into 1 year. So, and they definitely seem to move around a lot in this franchise, but honestly, I don't even care about the plot anymore after watching this stupid movie. Wrong Turn 5 opens up with a group of campers who are going to a festival for like the hillbilly whatever is going on in West Virginia in the woods in a town. I don't know. This movie was just, it turned me off at like the first 10 minutes. Literally 5 minutes in, you get a sex scene in here, and it's just like, dude, you know this is made by the same director. And guess what? It was Declan O'Brien, same guy that directed parts 4 and 3. So, of course, he wanted more titties, more boobs, and more guts. So, you know, that's what you're getting for this film. You follow a group of, you know, campers, friends that are driving into town. They get into a car crash. They get picked up by the police because, not the hillbillies, but a guy who is basically the patriarch of the whole family, is played by Doug Bradley. Now, if you don't know who Doug Bradley is, he was Pinhead in Hellraiser. I think all the Hellraisers except like for the last 2 films, that's when he was Pinhead. You can tell he was the only actor that really tried, but they lock him up in a jail cell for like most of the film, so he doesn't really get to do much except just talk and run his mouth and trash talk everybody. He plays the patriarch of this whole hillbilly family. He gets arrested along with the teenagers who get into a car crash because of weed that the cops found in the car. You also get introduced to a sheriff who's honestly forgettable. Honestly, all these characters except for Doug Bradley were forgettable. So most of this movie takes place in a jail cell. If I got to be honest with you, most of it takes place either in a small portion of the town or just a jail cell. And yeah, none of it was memorable whatsoever. Yeah, so they get sent to a prison, and Doug Bradley's character threatens the sheriff and everybody in there, saying that his family's coming to bust him out. And of course, guess what happens? They come to bust him out. So from there on out, everybody's trying to gear up and get ready. But as stupid as horror movie characters are, they get out of the jail house and look around for people. And of course, they get killed off one by one and chaos ensues. Wrong Turn 5 Bloodlines was definitely a movie I was not looking forward to, seeing the massive negative reviews I have seen online and in the comment section of my videos, especially from a guy named Monster Blood, very good friend of mine, definitely would recommend him. He told me to be warned about parts 5 and 6, and I can definitely see why. Because I did not enjoy this film whatsoever. I swear I had to take breaks in between, like, the span of 30 minutes. Because I was just getting so bored, and this film was so stupid, bro. Like, I can't even describe to you how messy the plot was, how none of these characters were interesting whatsoever. And really, the kills weren't even that great either. Like, if we're talking about kills, they were not as good as 4 and 3. I'll be honest. And the CGI blood, my gosh, is there so much of it. It's worse than part 3. It is so worse than Wrong Turn 3. Like, I can't even, this has definitely been the least favorite that I've watched. It's not the worst film ever that I've watched. You cannot top Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 as the worst film made. But, you know, this film, not far from, definitely in my top 10 worst horror films that I've watched so far on this channel. So yeah, kills weren't all that great. Doug Bradley was really the only guy that tried. Even though he gets locked into a jail cell most of the film, you don't really get to see him do much except till right at the very end. And another thing about this movie, the ending, like the third act of this film, it makes you feel like such a douche for just watching this film. Like, just what happens to these characters done by the hillbillies and Doug Bradley, you feel so terrible for them. And if you have a movie where it makes you feel bad about the characters that are getting killed, and you're watching a slasher movie that is about kills, but you feel terrible watching them die, like a painful death, that is a major red flag for a movie. If you're watching a slasher that is meant for you to see people die, and you cannot stand watching them die, that's a major red flag and a major turnoff for this film for me. That pissed me off, and it really made me feel terrible at the third act. Like, you'll understand if you watch the film, but it made me feel terrible watching it, and that's not something I want to see in a horror film. If a horror film makes you feel terrible for watching it, you should not trust the rest of the franchise. But yet, I'm going to watch Part 6 in the remake anyway, so hopefully they're better than this. But yeah, writing was terrible. Way worse than 4, way worse than 3. I don't know how Declan O'Brien managed to screw this up so badly, but he did. I thought Part 3 was okay. Honestly, the ones that he has written, 4 would probably be my favorite that he's written. 3 and 5 could care less. But 5 is way worse than 3. I'm going to be honest with you. The cannibals themselves, you get 3 fingers, Sawtooth, and 1 eye. They look nothing like they do in any of the films whatsoever. Like, especially 1 eye and Sawtooth. Sawtooth and 1 eye look nothing like they do in parts 1 and 4. They look nothing like their counterparts. 3 finger probably looks the most recognizable, but even then, the makeup of him is terrible. Honestly, the whole makeup effects just looks terrible and cheaply made in this film. If I had to give one word to describe Wrong Turn 5 Bloodlines, it would be cheap. Because you can literally see that they were so under budget that literally when they're going down the street and they turn a corner, you can literally see in the background where they put like a big 18-wheeler like to block off a corner of the section of the street because they couldn't afford to film to build another second block of the movie. And you can that is another major red flag for me. And it looks so cheaply made, like just the camera quality and just the way that they do the kills, it's terrible. There's really only 2 kills in here that really interest me, and it's where they both get mulched to death. It's where 2 characters get mulched to death by like some kind of steamroller sawmill looking thing. I don't know what it is, but it's some kind of sharp rolly blade thing. That's probably the only 2 memorable kills in this film. Other than that, the other kills just look bland and boring, and the ones that aren't boring make you feel terrible for watching them, especially in the third act, so you'll understand why. But yeah, other than that, 3 fingers, Sawtooth, 1 eye, they look terrible in this film. 3 fingers so annoying where he's like, like where he's just laughing, they're literally cartoons. Like, I cannot describe this any better. They're literally cartoons. So yeah, overall, Wrong Turn 5 was just really bland and boring, and it made you feel terrible right at the end. And that's not something I want a horror film to make me feel. If a film makes you feel terrible for watching it, like, nah, that's major red flag. So overall, Wrong Turn 5 was really bad. I got no other words to describe it except cheaply made and just terrible. And it's making me dread watching Part 6 because I really hope it's better than 5. So yeah, that's been my review on Wrong Turn 5 Bloodlines. Really crappy film. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, it'd probably be about a 4 to 4.5. Not as bad as Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, but you know, definitely top 10 worst horror films for me personally. So What is everyone's thoughts on Wrong Turn 5 Bloodlines? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Would really love to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next horror movie review. God bless, and have a great day. Bye, everyone.